Well, after a year of living with isolation and quarantines, the world is finally starting to open up.
And whether you're feeling ready or not, getting back to normal, whatever that is going to be an adjustment for all of us.
So joining us with a few things to keep in mind is speaker, author, and professional development expert, Jeff Havens. Welcome back to the show, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Good to see you again.
I know. It's been so long. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this.
So we're inching slowly back to normal. You say you have to accept that people are going to be weird for a while.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I heard somebody put it well recently that social skills are skills, and that's an easy thing to overlook, but it's just like any other skill. You have to practice it in order to keep it at a certain level, and if you don't practice it, you lose that level. So it's going to take all of us, I think, a little bit of time to remember how to be around other people. My wife and I went to a trampoline park recently with our two kids, and it was when I live in Colorado now, and it was when they had just opened to 50% capacity, and so there were about 100 people there, which was full, but not really full. It was 50% full.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I'd been around 100 people in I don't know how long, and I looked around, I'm like, oh my God, there's so many people here. What do I do? And, people are going to react that way for a little while. And you just need to give, some of us are going to take more time than others. Some of us are going to run out to concerts and press ourselves right up against everybody else. And others of us are not going to do that. And everyone's going to get there at their own pace. And you need to be respectful of the people who are, slower or faster than you.
Yeah, that's good advice. It's going to be a work in progress. It has been a struggle the past year, there's no doubt. But you suggest that we keep the good things that happened this year in mind. So thinking a little bit of positive is a good practice, right?
Yeah, there's two things that I think are important to remember. The first is that we will look back on this last year as probably the most innovative in the last 100 because we've had no choice. Everybody has been stuck at home trying desperately to figure out how to manage an environment that absolutely nobody on the planet expected was going to happen. And what is going to come out of a lot of this, a lot of the things we've just done to get by. A lot of the ideas we've tried are not going to last beyond the pandemic. But some of what we have come up with, both personally and professionally, is going to end up becoming best practices for the next 5 or 10 years. We have come up with a lot of really good ideas. And I think it's important to remember that there has been some positive in all of this. And the other thing I think it's important to remember is actually what we have missed. And I think mostly what we have missed is being around other people. We have missed being able to give hugs to our loved ones. We've missed coffee cooler conversation or water cooler conversations with our colleagues. We've missed live in-person events, whether they're intimate or whether they're large. We've missed human interaction. And a lot of us, I think, are of all the things we're looking forward to getting back to, whatever we call it travel, we call it back to the normal. But really what we're missing is being around other people and all of the good that comes from that. So I think it's important to remember that that stuff is coming, that it might be a little intimidating. It might be a little scary because we haven't done it for a while. But there's a reason we're looking forward to it for the most part, because that's a really important part of being human.
Now we won't take it for granted anymore.
We will eventually. We will eventually.
That's true.
Yeah, sort of a cliche now. Sort of a cliche now. We're calling it the new normal, but that's what it's going to be.
Well, I think that phrase, though, is a little disingenuous. The new normal implies that before this pandemic, everything was static and that nothing changed, And you could have said the new normal all the way through the 90s, for example, when the internet was coming online, and that completely overhauled the entire world. But we didn't use that phrase. This has been an enormous disruption. But in all fairness, life is this constant evolution from one state to another state. And for the most part, we don't notice that those changes are happening. And this year, of course, we've absolutely noticed. But really, none of us are the same person we were a year ago or 5 or 10, and none of us will be the same person in a year or 5 or 10. So I think it's important to remember that we are always changing, we are always evolving, things are always a little bit different than they were a couple years ago, so that maybe we don't think that this was something completely, unexperienced by, or that nobody had ever experienced before. This particular experience, I think, is obviously very unique, but the process of growing and changing is not.
Something good may come out of it.
Great perspective. And if people want more information, you have such great tips at your website, right? What is that?
JeffHavens.com. It's great. It cures asthma. It's really nice.
And it's good on a Friday night.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, good to see you again.
Great to see you, Jeff. Thank you so much. Stay in touch.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting. Bye.
See you later.